Hey guys, welcome back to the Own. Today I've got for you the first episode of Added Time in Too Long. I'm here with Evan, otherwise known as Hale, Adam, otherwise known as Storms, and Tawo, otherwise known as It's Ty. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first match we're going to start with is going to be the West Brom versus Crystal Palace match. Crystal Palace came away with the 2-0 lead in that game, and it could be vital for them if they're going to stay up. Now, that's the big question. Do we reckon Crystal Palace are going to stay up?
No.
I'm not sure.
Well, despite any of that, Zaha did open the score in 55th minute with a really good goal. He is actually turning out to be quite a good winger at the moment, whether he plays for England or not. Andrews Townsend, another person who's in and around the England squad, he had a shot straight at the keeper which he missed, but he made up for it a bit later with an outstanding solo counter-attack. Honestly, one of the best I've seen in ages to make it 2-0. So a lot of relegation struggling teams have gone with sacking the manager as a solution. And this is the other question I'd ask you. Is it always the manager who needs to take the blame? As the head coach, do they have to take the blame or do the players have to take responsibility?
The players. If the players aren't playing, then yeah.
I'd have to agree.
There's only so much a manager can do.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we're going to say for the Crystal Palace-West Brom match because... not one of the most exciting matches of the week. Slightly more exciting would be Man United versus Bournemouth. Tawo, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, well, I'll have a quick run through the events and then I'll let you say what you want to say. So obviously the first goal comes from Marcus Rojo. He gets on the end of a deflected cross from Valencia. Now, I'm going to move on to Valencia in a second, but if we carry on with it, King then scored a penalty to equalise. Jones obviously gave away that penalty. And then this is some of the big action as well. Zlatan gets kicked in the head by Mings. Now, I know that Evan and Adam both have contrasting opinions about this because we were only talking about it half an hour ago. Was it deliberate?
No. Yeah.
From who? From Ibra?
From Mings. This is the first challenge.
Oh, right, yeah.
See, with
Mings on...
me and Adam both went down the route that it could have well been deliberate, fair enough, but as far as I'm concerned, he was in the air, he was trying to land, over Ibra. Ibra's got obviously a really big guy. If I don't know, I don't know. I can't.
No way.
I can't say. Right, so despite that fact, Ibra managed to get his own back later on, and Ibra doesn't take any messing, managed to get an elbow into Mings, and basically the pair of them have now got a ban on their hands. So, Tawo, what would you like to say?
Well, first of all, I think it was deliberate because I looked at the replay and Mings looked at Ibra and then jumped, and then, to be honest, Ibra did kind of start it because they had a little bit of coming together once when the throw was taken. So if Ibra didn't do that, then he wouldn't have got his head stamped on, and then he wouldn't have elbowed the guy. But overall, the game was just ridiculous. I mean, how is Phil Jones doing that crazy stuff? Why is he even on the pitch? And Ibra, what the heck is he even doing? He didn't even do well. He's lazy at times. And he had loads of chances, and we should have won the game at 5-1. Or even, we shouldn't have conceded a goal. And then, I just don't know, we should have just killed the game off. But yeah, another goalkeeper comes across who just has an all-star performance. You have Tom Heaton, Jakubovic, and now Boric. It's ridiculous.
In that game, just to clarify, Man United had 20 shots, they had 3 shots.
Even worse. They won that game by 19-0.
But
I get 10 men as well. Second half. For the second half, you had 10 men.
Terrible performance.
Are these the games that could possibly cost United a Champions League spot this season?
Most definitely.
There you are.
If we keep on getting draws from games like this, we're not gonna make the points. Simple enough.
Well, this is it. This is the last point I want to move on to on the United thing, unless I can think of anything else. Mourinho came out with the comment a couple of weeks back. You'll remember it, Tawo, that Antonio Valencia is the best right back in the world. Even as a Liverpool fan, I find it quite hard to think of many right backs better than him. Let's be fair. I don't know where you stand on it, Tawo, but as a mutual person watching the Premier League, he, to me, has everything. He has pace, he has power, he can play as a midfielder, he can play as a defender. What would you make of it?
At the start of the season, I disagreed so much with Valencia at right back because I was saying, oh, he's not a right back, he can't defend. He still can't defend. We're good going forward, but he still can't defend. He reminds me of Alaba and David Luiz. They're good going forward, but when it comes to defending, they can't do anything. But it's best right back in the world. You've been serious. You've got Lahm, you've got Dani Alves, who not that good anymore. But I think Lan's probably the best right back in the world. Maybe Carvajal, I'm not quite sure. But Valencia, no one, eh?
Fair point. And
I'd agree with you.
the other thing, Alarm obviously retiring now is announced that's going to be a big loss for the world of football, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I
many
saw
of them.
that.
Since we last did this, Gerrard, Lampard, and now Alarm. Anyway.
And Terry.
John Terry?
Yeah.
For real?
He's retiring at the end of the season. Yeah, everyone's kids can finally come outside now.
You don't have to have your wife next to you every minute of every day.
Right, so the next game we're going to move on to is Swansea versus Burnley. Burnley did come out the losers in this match, but even I'd say that they deserved it too. Because think about it, Burnley were handed a penalty on a plate, weren't they? It is pathetic though, isn't it? The state of refereeing, how Sam Vokes could manhandle the ball when Burnley are attacking, and they win a penalty out of it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then with Mark Clattenburg obviously leaving.
Oh right, I thought you were going to say he's refereeing the game then.
So, the events of this game then. So, Llorente opened the scoring. He's on great form at the moment, probably in line for an inform this week. Andre Gray then equalises through that penalty, which was never a penalty. He then gets a second goal, probably because his morale had been increased by getting the penalty. Olsen then makes it 2-2, the left back, which they signed from Norwich, I think I want to say. Then Llorente does score a winner in extra time. Now, when you talk about some of the best strikers in this league, you think of Diego Costa, Alexis Sanchez, obviously Ibrahimovic. Llorente has been fairly solid for Swansea this season, hasn't he?
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, he's kind of replaced Gomez.
Is that one of the things Swansea miss? Because I know at one point... Paul Clement was hinting at maybe playing Sigurdsson as a permanent centre forward in the way that Firmino had that transition period from a cam to obviously the striker that he plays at now. I thought that's what they were doing with Sigurdsson, but with the way Llorente is playing, that's not going to happen, is it?
I like Sigurdsson. He's like a creative player, and now that Gomez is gone, like he kind of puts the team on his back at times. When Llorente is performing, he puts the team on his back and try and gets other players around him into the game.
Mm-hmm. And in fairness to
Swansea, I really do like Llorente.
Yeah.
Like 20 games this season and he scored 11 goals. Like that's an average striker. That he's not playing too badly for him.
And he's not exactly playing with world class talent around him, is he?
Exactly.
Terms of the team?
He's not like Ibrahimovic, where he's got the likes of Pogba, Mata, them sorts of people. Mkhitaryan. Did you know Fabianski in that game made 0 saves?
He didn't have to make a whole save all game, really. Well then, and in fairness to Swansea, they should have won the match against Man City, shouldn't they? If it wasn't for Jesus being on such good form, then they would have got a point at least. Anyway, the next match, Watford versus Southampton. Southampton came away with the 4-3 win. Before we move on to this match, and obviously Southampton's form in the league, I should say, the cup final, Tower. Now, as a United fan, did you feel that Southampton were unlucky?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the only players that kind of stood out for me in that Southampton team were Gabbiadini, obviously, Buffal once he came on, and probably Redmond and Romeo, I think. The defense was pretty solid.
For me, was one of the most consistent throughout that whole competition, because he was like the driving force in Southampton. He did like to act as the kind of hard man, especially in that final. I can't remember what he picked up his first yellow from, but it was stupid. He gave away that free kick to Ibra, wasn't it? Ibra scored the free kick, and then we know what happened after that. But it was a stupid foul, and had he not made that foul, Southampton could have done so much more. The game would have still been 0-0, and he would not have had to play like he's on a yellow card. So, but look, I'm not making a case.
They did score the goal that was offside, which wasn't offside, from Gabbiadini.
Exactly.
So he could even had a hat trick.
Exactly. And he did have a really good game. He was unlucky to have it ruled offside, but look, props to United. I'm not going to sit here and criticise them. They've won another trophy. They're now the most successful team in England, much to my dismay. So hopefully we can get another Champions League to shut you up anyway. There you are then. So Southampton came away 4-3 winners. I don't exactly know this much about this game, but obviously the highlights will probably tell you the story. The next match is more interesting, and I've got a lot to say about this one, as I'm sure you lot have. Leicester versus Hull. Leicester came away with a 3-1 win. That's Leicester's second win on the bat, and they've now announced today, I think, that Craig Shakespeare will be the manager till the end of the season. Let's talk about Ranieri first. What do you lot make of his sacking?
Well, it's ridiculous. I mean, he won you the league. Like, you don't win. You don't sack somebody because they're doing bad with Leicester. If Leicester is not gonna do the double. Like,
Exactly.
it's something less that you sold Kante, yes, and the replacements that he bought were rubbish, ridiculous.
In fairness, Leicester were always going to be battling relegation, but because he's set his own standards so high by winning the league, the people high up are suddenly thinking, hold on, we should be finishing top 10. I think the best person who put it best was Jamie Carragher. He said last season was the freak. Leicester should never have won the Premier League. It was an amazing season for them. But let's get real. If the manager's going to take the sack for that, he said, and it's exactly bang on the money in my opinion. He said, had Leicester finished mid-table last season, Ranieri would still have his job, because that would have been standard. He'd have done enough to keep them up. He'd still have his job.
He still has a job now.
Exactly.
I don't think if he
opinion.
carried on, I don't think that Leicester would be in the place that they are now if he stayed.
I think Ranieri for president 2020.
Honestly, the guy is so nice.
Heard it
Isn't
here first.
I think like they might have won Prem, but they're gonna move on. If they keep on losing games, can't keep it that way just because he won one Prem with them.
They've got to try and get the results they can, but at the end of the day, him winning the Premier League should have secured him a bit longer in the job at least.
Definitely.
Right, so the next match, Stoke City versus Middlesbrough. So now Stoke is a team that I find absolutely boring to watch. I don't know about you lot. Middlesbrough are much better, to be quite honest with you, so I'm not going to go into massive detail about it. But Stoke were another team. They had a really bad start to the season, didn't they? They dropped into the relegation places very early, but they've totally turned it around.
Very good game for Stoke indeed. 2-0 win. And Altovic getting that 8.8 rating with 2 goals. Very, very solid game from the guy. In that game, Stoke had 13 shots as opposed to Middlesbrough's 8 shots. The possession was 55% to 45%, going Stoke's way. Again, another statistic they're good on. Pass succession, 78%, as opposed to Middlesbrough's 75%. Dribbles completed, 24 for Stoke, 13 for Middlesbrough. Another stat they've won on. Aerial battles won, 21 to Stoke, 18 to Middlesbrough. And this is the only statistic that Middlesbrough did better on. Stoke made 16 successful tackles as opposed to Middlesbrough's 23 successful tackles. However, corners, Stoke did get 6 while Middlesbrough only got 1. Stoke, however, were dispossessed on 14 occasions as opposed to Middlesbrough's 10. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you all later.
Next match then, Liverpool versus Arsenal, 3-1. We have such a good record against the top 6. How come we can't beat Burnley and Swansea and Bournemouth? We're dreadful, aren't we? Honestly, it's stupid of people to say Klopp out. In fairness, it's a horrible situation how many competitions we're out of. The FA Cup, the EFL Cup, which we should have been in the final of, but Southampton absolutely did us, credit to them for it. But I think the underlying issue here isn't how good we are, it's how bad Arsenal is, surely.
Yeah,
exactly.
The team's struggling for form, especially with Wenger out, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, this is why I was hoping so much that we could have George on, because he would go into rant mode.
I like Klopp, even though he's at Liverpool. But Arsenal, what are they doing? I mean, they're trying to like get players up from the ranks so quickly. I don't know if Iwobi's came from the ranks or whatever, but they need to buy more players. Even the players that they bought, they don't even use them. And they're looking to rely on Alexis Sanchez and Giroud and Ozil.
Sanchez didn't even start.
That's the massive thing. He's apparently had a falling out with Wenger. Everyone's saying if he's falling out with Wenger, he's basically out of the club. Is it that way?
I think he'll leave anyway.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
might go to Juventus, United, or maybe Inter Milan. I don't even know, but Premier League Player of the Month.
Harry Kane, all the way.
Lukaku or Kante. What a beast Kante is.
I've got to go Lukaku, me. For the simple reason that it's all about the team they've got round him again. If you look at Everton aren't particularly a strong team. So for Lukaku to do as good as he does, it does show he's a class striker. But take nothing away from Harry Kane. The guy's on insane form.
I think he's like a second season wonder.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They called him a one-season wonder. He's not really living up to that right now, is he?
Every time Harry Kane scores a hat-trick, a child is born.
He's got enough of them, hasn't he? But yeah.
Enough children.
Hopefully not. I didn't even
At
realise we were still
23,
talking
okay.
about John Terry. Anyway, right, so after the Liverpool match, Tottenham versus Everton, another one that I watched. How Everton actually managed to get 2 goals on Spurs, I'll never know. But Spurs came out the winners 3-2. Now, there's a couple of big questions we could go to about Spurs, but what I would say, Harry Kane's in insane form right now, Dele Alli's in insane form right now. What should Spurs be targeting? Because personally, I think they should be trying to win the Europa League or some kind of competition, if not the Premier League. Some Champions League action kicking off tonight whilst we're on the subject as well. Napoli, Real Madrid. I reckon Napoli could do it, you know.
That's what I think. Mertens on form and
Exactly.
Insigne.
So, Sunderland, Man City. Man City won this one 2-0. Leroy Sané got a goal. Obviously, I've still got his one to watch from that time I wasted. 80k in it. I bet that was fun. Yeah, so hopefully he gets an
Oh, I
inform
had
this
him.
week.
Oh,
And Aguero was the other one. Now, since Gabriel Jesus has been out injured, Aguero's really trying to prove his worth, and he is one of the best strikers in the world. This is a bit of a testing question. Who would you rather have out of them two? I know we haven't seen too much of Jesus.
Jesus.
Aguero all day long. Aguero didn't have to
Aguero.
prove anything. He's probably like, what, one of the top 5 best strikers in the world. So it's kind of a bit too early to compare Jesus to...
I say Jesus. Jesus
I
all
don't.
day.
Bit of a debate there,
Yeah.
but I'd go Aguero as well for the simple fact that Aguero has risen through the ranks at City and he's proved his worth every single time. Even when he first came there, people were like raising question marks about him. He goes and scores some insane goals when he first comes to the club, and he's still
His
banging
first
them
game.
in. Aguero's so
In
good
it-
that people
He
forget how
scored 2
good
in
he
his
is.
debut, didn't he?
Yeah,
In his first or second season, he won them the
scored a
league.
screamer.
well, we all remember
Sad season
Martin
for all United
Tyler
fans.
absolutely going mental about it, don't we?
Let's not talk about that.
Anyway, so we're going to finish off with last night's match, the last of the episode. It is Chelsea versus West Ham. Chelsea got a 2-1 win. I don't even know how West Ham managed to get a goal on Chelsea the way Chelsea are playing, but there you are. Is the league already Chelsea's? Have they got the name on the
No.
trophy already?
No,
No.
Yeah.
not anymore. Tottenham are going to battle
All
it.
it takes is a
like
few
last
more
time.
slip-ups from Chelsea. I reckon.
And
Tottenham
I
Liverpool.
will
agree
get
with
it.
you there,
Hey.
Towell. I think Tottenham have
catch 'em.
already bottled it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because
And
Tottenham
yeah.
are in such a good position to poach the league. If Chelsea tripped up, Tottenham were going to be right there. And they've now blown it to the point where Man City are now doing what Tottenham should be doing.
City are going to battle it as well. It's going to be a one-horse race. Chelsea are going to win it.
I
I think probably City will come second, Tottenham will come third, and then United won't come fourth. Forget them. And Arsenal, well, yeah, they're probably coming fourth. They're known for coming fourth, so they might as well.
What about us lot's predictions then? I'll go with mine next. I'm going to say Chelsea are going to slip up. Personally, I reckon their name is on the league title already. It's got to be. Second, I don't honestly, I don't reckon City will get second. Something weird tells me that something will happen towards the end of the season. So I'm going to go for Spurs to just clinch second place. And then I go City. Then it'll be either us or Arsenal. Right now, I can't say whether it'll be us. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say us in fourth. Then Arsenal to finish fifth.
Then United.
Then
Okay.
United.
So we haven't moved anywhere. Okay, great.
If you finish sixth, honestly, I will dedicate a whole folder of memes to United. I would.
Oh,
I
don't
promise you.
do that.
Right,
No.
Are we ready for my predictions?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right. I know I always bang on about how Tottenham could catch them, but no, Chelsea at the top. It's going to go Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
Liverpool in
a good
third. Liverpool in third. City in fourth. Man United fifth. Arsenal sixth.
Spit German.
Arsenal sixth.
Yeah.
Is George crying whilst watching Arsenal fan TV? My
But-
favourite
no,
thing
but
to do at 10 o'clock at night, by the way, lads.
But the thing that I like about this year in football is how at the top of the table, how close it is, apart from Chelsea, how close everyone is in points. Like, it literally could go any way.
That's a fair
Chelsea
point.
is so far ahead. If it can take could probably catch Chelsea. How far ahead they are?
Yeah. One thing I'd say, I'd give Mourinho a lot of credit right now for the position Chelsea are in, because not only has Mourinho built the team that Conte's inherited, but as well as that, Mourinho has instilled many of the values Chelsea are using. Like what United are trying to do right now. In fairness to United, when they're playing for a draw, a point is better than no points, in fairness. And when United are picking up points every week, when Liverpool are maybe losing 3 points some weeks, they will have those points. And there was a point a couple of weeks ago where so many teams were losing that United had a prime position to get up the table. And that's what I think a Jose Mourinho side does. I think it wears you down, it picks up points quietly, and especially with Liverpool, if you slip, his team will be there. if you slip, his team's going to be there. And honestly, that's what I think he's done to Chelsea. I think he's given them that ruthless streak, and he's going to do the same at United. He already is doing. Okay, so that's going to be the end of this episode of Added Time. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like.
And
I'll see you
See you
next
in
time.
the next one.